Okay, good morning, NJ STIC members and friends. My name is Amanda Gendek of the New Jersey STIC executive team. I'm also the manager of the NJ DOT Bureau of Research, which is charged with administering the New Jersey STIC program of activities. Thank you for joining us today for our third quarterly meeting of 2021. Really hard to believe that the summer's coming to a close already and that school is back in session.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there are a lot of happy parents in our audience today, present company included. I'm hoping that we're all going to be back in person soon, but until then, we'll keep plugging along with this virtual format, which seems to be working out quite nicely. And I welcome and encourage you all to show your faces and also remind you to mute yourselves unless you're speaking. We'll be monitoring the chat in the event that there are any questions raised along the way. And there's a formal question and answer session built into the agenda after our feature presentation later on.
Lenny did here was Hackensack's guy. Lenny wrote the report for Hackensack.
Can everyone mute themselves if they're not speaking
yes.
right now? So now I'd like to welcome our Assistant Commissioner, Mike Russo, to say a few words.
Hi, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our third quarterly STIC meeting. I'm going to steal one of Mary's terms. I hope everybody is safe. I hope everybody is well, and I hope everybody is continuing to plod through their pandemic fatigue, new term that we just heard this morning. I really at this point was hoping that we would be meeting in person once again. I think we all look forward to that. But in the meantime, we've really mastered these virtual meetings, and I have a very full agenda for today. I'm looking forward to today's meeting because we get to show off some of the good work that our folks at DOT are doing. And feature presentation, we'll be putting a spotlight on some of the work that Nicole Minatoli's folks are doing over in multimodal services, specifically in our transportation data and support area. So today we're going to have Mr. Peter Wojciechowski. Peter, I hope I pronounced that correctly, doing a presentation on Safety Voyager. Now, Safety Voyager is a crash analysis tool that the department has developed. And it's been around for a few years, but through Peter and the work of the multimodal team, there's been quite a few improvements made recently, and many of those improvements have been kind of spurred by the work we're doing for the Strategic Highway Safety Plan, making the tool be more directly supportive of the efforts of the emphasis area teams, trying to provide modules that are specific to the needs of our primary customers. So there's been a lot of work done recently, a lot of improvements. We have modules that lend support to FHWA proven counting. There's a module in there that is specific to sun glare that will help us with countermeasures related to sun glare, backplates, things of that nature. We've also, Peter's also developed a module that helps our operational folks in that there's a weather module that's been developed. So there's a lot of new improvements with respect to Safety Voyager. I'm looking forward to that. I think you'll find a lot of useful information in that. My sense is this is a tool that isn't as widely known as it should be. So today is our chance to show it off. With that, please join us for today's meeting, and I will hand it over to Helene for her federal highway updates, I believe is the next slide, correct? So thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you, Mike. I hope everyone can hear me okay. I've been having a few problems with my microphone. I see some heads nodding there, David and Mary. It's my turn. Oh, and lots of thumbs up. Wow, I'm doing great already, and I have hardly said anything. I'm here to do the FHWA update. So Amanda, if you would please advance to the next slide where there's actually some content or something. So we did our progress report number 1, believe it or not. Maybe you do believe it because you're suffering from pandemic fatigue. and time is going very slowly. We did pass 6 months. We did our first progress report in July, this past July. We didn't have a lot of changes. I had some notes here, but of course I can't see them. So I just have to try to remember what happened. Only digital as-built was the only one who jumped up an implementation stage. I think it was from not doing anything to development, the first one. So, and if you advance to the next slide, Amanda, that might help jog my memory about what happened. So yeah, you can see that digital as-built is now at a 1, which means development. That's pretty much after not implemented. That's the first stage of deployment. And the goal for that one is demonstration. So just one more bump up for implementation stage. So that was our only advancement as far as that went. And I'm sure you all will be hearing more about the status of these initiatives from the core innovation area leads during their presentation. So I'm hoping that you'll hear more, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. And the other thing that I'm going to talk about, Amanda, is the Let's Go pilot workshop. Next week and the week after, we at FHWA are piloting a workshop called Let's Go. It's based on a workshop that we used to, that we still actually host, called Leap Not Creep. And they offered that to our implementation teams for the various Everyday Counts initiatives, our internal FHWA implementation teams, to gel them and have them be more cohesive and understand what their strengths and opportunities are by doing like a SWOT analysis, and then doing sort of a risk assessment about what could happen and how can we address that, now, what could get in our way of implementing this thing. So we're running concurrently 2 initiatives. One is some variation of 3D digital delivery / digital as-built / 3D modeling. We're not really sure exactly how to coin that one. And the other one is strategic workforce development. So we'll be running those 2 concurrently. We have the actual implementation team for those 2 initiatives registered for the workshop and ready to go. And the goal is to get those teams to really talk about what they want to do, how they plan to get there, what are their strengths and opportunities of the team members, what are the risks to achieving that the goal or the mission that they have set up, and how to address them, and then how to sort of measure and track progress with the initiative is the wrap up. So we're really looking forward to this. Again, it's a pilot workshop. So those of you who are on this meeting, who are participating in the workshop, remember as we go along that it is a pilot. We are the pilot state. We're the first state that's doing this. The goal is ultimately to turn it into a National Highway Institute course. But remember, as we go along, this is a pilot. Things may be bumpy. Things may not be perfect. And we're all working together to try to achieve the goals of the workshop. So again, we have 2 modules on the 21st, modules 1 and 2, and we have 2 more modules on the 28th, modules 3 and 4. And then hopefully at the end of this thing, we'll have a mission, and we'll have some measures, and we'll have some risks analyzed, and we'll be able to proceed better with these 2 initiatives with all our ducks in a row. Did I cover everything, Amanda? Okay, I guess I did, because I don't hear a no. Okay, so that's it for me. We're on to the core innovation area reports from our leaders.
Amanda?
Amanda, are you on mute? We can't hear you talking. maybe whoever, Dan, were you guys supposed to go first?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
going
we got it.
first. So basically, I'll speak for Amanda. We're just going to go over a brief synopsis on each team. My team is leaving off for safety. Obviously, it's me and Keith Skelton are going to be presenting just a few slides. So Amanda, if you want to go to the next slide. There we are. So as a disclaimer, safety innovations are not the focus of this round of EDC, but we like to continue to provide updates on safety to continue to make the point that innovations started as part of the EDC initiative do not end when the EDC cycle ends. Institutionalized means efforts become part of our routine work. We had EDC initiatives in round 5 that included reducing rural roadway departures and safe transportation for every pedestrian. Under both initiatives, one of our focus areas was to promote inclusion of the FHWA proven safety countermeasures into projects beyond HSIP projects. My bureau continued this message at the 2021 Design Summit in August. We were part of a panel promoting that safety is the #1 priority that all engineers strive for in their design. The session started with us showing the "Is Zero Deaths Achievable" video prepared for the Strategic Highway Safety Plan Summits. I'll include a link to the video in the chat for those who haven't seen it. When we presented the HSIP program details and provided the proven safety countermeasures for engineers to consider to include in their designs. Other safety topics included a roadway standards presentation on safety devices and low-cost safety measures, and a case study on Chesterfield Roundabout in Burlington County. Overall, the summit was a great success and presented a unique opportunity to encourage the consultant community to consider inclusion of low-cost safety countermeasures into projects that will reduce fatalities and serious injury crashes related to roadway departures, intersections, and pedestrian and bicyclist safety. Next slide, please.
All right, thank you, Dan, and good morning, everyone. Just a thumbs up that everyone can hear me. Awesome, thank you. So within the action plan under the STEP, New Jersey DOT continued their efforts for complete streets training and technical assistance. New Jersey DOT is very advanced in complete streets as a transportation policy and as a design approach that requires streets to be planned, designed, operated, and maintained to enable safe, convenient, and comfortable travel and access for all users regardless of their mode of transportation. Road diets are an example of an FHWA proven safety countermeasure and a complete streets application. In the last 5 years or so, there were at least 47 road diets that have been undertaken on the state, county, and local roads in New Jersey, and about 70% of that number have been constructed and operational. As part of the public education process, NJDOT, under their Complete Streets program, published a video to provide information on how road diets work and the benefits they provide using case studies from implemented road diets in some of New Jersey's county, town, and shore environments. I'll include a link in the chat here for those who'd be interested in seeing that video. FHWA will be working on promoting and educating complete streets in the coming year. At the national level, we plan to improve the understanding across FHWA of the importance and methods of providing for safety for all users via a complete streets approach and make the inclusion of safety for all users a priority and a routine part of the federal aid system. At the division level, our safety and planning staff will be coordinating with stakeholders and collecting information and identifying noteworthy practices in New Jersey. That's about all I have for now, and I'd like to turn it over to the next CIA team. Thank you.
Before we go any further, does anybody have any questions on our 2 slides?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were doing questions at the end or in between.
Yeah.
And like Amanda said too, if anything comes up in the chat box
Yep.
too, we're available to answer as well.
Yep. I just posted the Zero Deaths Achievable video also. So, all right, our next, I think Amanda's having some problems. So we're gonna pass this over to our infrastructure preservation team. I believe Bob, you're leading this effort.
That's right, Dan. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Bob.
Next slide, please. There we go. So the first one I want to talk about is the digital as-built effort that's going on. Since we met last, the team is still gathering information from designers, SMEs, and other folks regarding potential issues and lessons learned.
Oh,
No?
she got out. I guess she got out and she's going to get back in.
Yeah, that's okay. I've got a backup here. So based upon what the team's learned, the team is planning on piloting 2 projects to test the digital as-built technology. And finally, what I have on the slide is, as Helene had said, the team is going to attend the Let's Go Innovation Workshop, FHWA's effort, on September 21st and 28th. And they're going to do that to, sort of gel the direction that the team wants to go and wants to head in and to make sure that this effort is viable. It's a very big effort. As Helene also said, this is sort of a hybrid effort between a lot of technologies. The digital as-built effort itself, which was the EDC, is sort of an end stage of the entire 3D digital design process. And so the team is going to be focusing on 3D project delivery that'll lead to 3D design and then finally digital as-built. So to use an example, before they can run, they've got to crawl and then walk. So but they're going to be heading that way, and they're very interested in pursuing the initiative. The next innovation is e-ticketing. E-ticketing, of course, is another digital effort in conjunction with the digital as-built effort. Right now, the effort's in the developmental stage, and the team right now has looked at 2 different vendors that have given presentations. And they're continuing to reach out to other vendors, for future presentations in order to see what the industry has to offer for different platforms to accomplish this. The next effort is the Targeted Overlay Pavement Solutions, TOPS. The TOPS team has been very active during this cycle. They continue to use TOPS treatments continually with the department. There were 2 HPTO, the HEPTO projects awarded in June of 2021. The team's working on developing a 2023-2024 state year preservation projects that will include additional TOPS treatments. And they hope to identify candidate projects for HEMA. For those that are familiar with it, it's the Ultra HEPTO, and they hope to implement that soon. Of note, I wanted to say that there's going to be a new innovation champion for this innovation, and that's Nusrat Morshed. I believe, Nusrat, you're on with us today. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
Nusrat
super.
Mokshe from Pavement Design.
Yes, so welcome, and I'm glad you're going to be part of this effort.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I also wanted to mention that the TOPS working group, including FHWA, NJDOT, county and municipal engineers, are meeting at the end of September and the beginning of October to continue facilitation of TOPS innovations. And finally, there's going to be a TOPS presentation that's going to include FHWA and NJDOT speakers at the County Engineers Fall Forum. So the TOPS effort has really got a lot on their plate, and they're continuing to lead the nation in targeted overlay solutions. The last innovation I wanted to speak about was the UHPC, the ultra high performance concrete for bridge preservation and repair. The team has secured funding for a testing program for UHPC overlays, and they were also issued a notice to proceed for that effort with a contract. They provided a presentation at the International Bridge Conference, the IBC, and they were invited by FHWA to do so, so they presented there. The team presently is preparing for hosting 2 additional upcoming workshops to speak about UHPC. And they're also hosting a workshop in October 2021, and they're going to be participating in the LTAP workshop with a presentation to support local and municipal agencies in the effort to adopt and implement UHPC preservation and repair. One final milestone is, and this is a first for NJDOT, a UHPC link slab application is in the construction phase. So they're going to be constructing that link slab, and then they'll monitor to see how it works, and hopefully if it fares as well as they think, they'll be using UHPC for a lot of different applications aside from preservation and repair, and institute it into construction as a standard item. I hope everybody got all of that. That was a lot to cover for me. Do you have any questions? Okay. Next we have someone.
Am I back on again?
Yes, you are.
We can hear you, yeah.
Woo! Okay. So I have a backup. I have Andy's laptop next to me in case that happens again. I apologize. But it seems like you got along okay without me while I was having some technical difficulties. So thank you, Bob. And next up, we have Sue Catlett and Ake Pomsavath from our Mobility and Operations CIA team. Sue, you are muted. Is Ake coming on? Oh, Ake's coming on.
No. Well, I didn't know if, are you doing the slides or I just go without the
Yeah,
slides?
just tell me next and I'll advance the slides for you.
Okay, I don't see any at the
Amanda,
moment.
they're not, your screen isn't being shared. We're not seeing the slides.
I
Let me
see
try that
people.
again. Okay.
I can-
Now, do we see the slides?
Yes,
Oh.
I see them.
Okay, great. Sorry. Go ahead, Sue.
Oh, there they are. Okay. Good morning. Talking to you at the moment about the next generation TIM, which is integrating technology, data, and training. As you can see that we're collaborating with the New Jersey State Police. And for those who don't know, the CAD is not computer aided design, it's computer aided dispatch. It's how the state police are advancing and putting into a computer system that allows them to do their dispatching better, as well as some other things. One of the things, it's taken them a while to get to this point, but they recently have deployed their new CAD system. The system is still undergoing the fine tuning and adjustments that you all expect to have happen when you deploy a brand new system. We are on the list, NJDOT is on the list of groups that the state police need to work with to discuss modifications. We are discussing what data that we would like to receive from the state police, and can we push back information to them. This goes along with being able to identify crashes earlier and quicker, so that we can respond faster, so that we can have less traffic interference. In the meantime, while the state police has been working on their CAD system, we've been working on our ATMS platform. And ATMS is another acronym that we're all famous for, and it's Advanced Transportation Traffic System or Advanced Traffic Management System. It generally is another term that we use that's a little quicker is core software. Core software for us is going to be combining our multiple platforms that we have in our management centers that include our cameras, our traffic devices, our message signs, as well as our data entry, and try and combine them all into one platform so that our operators do not have to go over to this system and then have to come back and go over to this system. It will all interact together and will potentially offer us suggestions as to where to look for incidents, where to look for cameras that might be able to help us look for things. So while we have not made huge progress, this is still progress. We're still moving forward. And at this point, Ake, you're up.
Thank you, Sue, for the briefing. I will provide an update for crowdsourced data to advance the operations program. The pilot project is currently at the development stage. Federal authorization of funds has been approved. NJ STIC has completed their procurement process and selected Waycare information service provider to provide the crowdsourced data. Moving forward, the NJ STIC will coordinate with the state OIT to make sure the new software application is consistent and in compliance with the state OIT enterprise system, their data architecture, and cybersecurity requirements. And that concludes our update for the CIA operations team.
Any questions? Okay, everyone can hear me still?
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
there's no
Thank you,
questions.
Sue and Ake. Finally, please welcome Zenobia Fields and Brian Goodson of our Organizational Improvement and Support CIA team.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. In July, Zenobia and I attended a webinar hosted by Federal Highway Headquarters titled Evolution of Virtual Public Involvement During the Pandemic, State Transportation Agency Practices. During this webinar, we had presentations from Ohio DOT, Maryland DOT, and Maryland Transportation Authority, in which they shared some of their best practices to engage the public virtually. Listed on the slide are the best practices that were common among all three agencies, and all three agencies reiterated the importance of choosing the right platform. For example, a platform that works well for stakeholder meetings might not be the right fit for engaging the public. And in some cases, a combination of platforms might be required to successfully engage the public. They also offered a word of caution that it might take some time to figure out what works best. All three agencies also mentioned how having a prepared team was the key to a successful virtual public meeting. They prepared their teams by providing clear instructions, conducting dry runs, considering staffing needs and roles, sharing presentations with multiple people, and preparing a list of FAQs. And we just saw like Amanda was having issues, and if someone was a backup, the meeting keeps going on. And when it comes to dealing with the underserved populations, the agencies learned to think outside the box. For example, they worked with local officials, religious leaders, local leaders, and provided multiple methods to get the word out as well as to collect comments. Another lesson learned they shared was the importance of providing different ways to share information and gather feedback. For example, they use virtual information rooms to share information and virtual and voicemail testimony to gather feedback. Lastly, they stressed the importance of setting the appropriate length of time for the meetings to avoid Zoom fatigue. And like Helen said, you know, we're all suffering the pandemic. What do you say, Helen? Pandemic fatigue?
Passing on.
It's Mary Amin's term, yes.
All right.
Pandemic fatigue.
So there's Zoom fatigue. So for example, advertising start time, but no end time to avoid the need to host meetings longer than necessary, and sticking to the agenda to avoid going over the scheduled time. Shorter meetings, either in the afternoon or evenings, worked best. We hope to incorporate some of these lessons from this webinar as we move forward with the VPI initiative. Thank you for your attention, and I'll turn this over to Zenobia for additional updates. Zenobia?
Good morning. Thank you, Brian. So just to wrap up with the VPI, is as you heard last time, we participated in the informative interviews with the ETC team, where they're going to publish that article on the NJ Tech Transfer site. That's going to be available, as well as on October 6th. There's going to be a VPI webinar that's going to start at, I believe, at 12:30, but it's available on the site if you wish to attend. You're going to hear from some of our subject matter experts, including our folks from the Department of, or the Division of Community Relations. In terms of strategic workforce development, what we're looking for here is we have the innovation itself is really looking at highway construction and what we're doing to partner there. Last time we heard from Michelle Shapiro about our apprenticeship program that's working with Andrew Tenard and his team there, looking at what we're doing with training. In terms of that innovation, we are at the assessment phase. What we want to do right now during the assessment phase 2 is take advantage of some of the lessons learned that we're hearing nationally about partnering with some of our associations, such as our contract associations, such as ASHTO, ACEC, and so forth there. So we're still working on that. What we're doing, as Helene mentioned earlier, we have our workshop, the Let's Go workshop. It's coming up on September 21st. With that, we're going to be focusing on succession planning. Succession planning, as you heard from Crystal Section during the last Sticking Council meeting, we're really going to look at what are we doing for succession planning for the not just the construction services related to DOTs, but also looking at the other professional development fields at DOTs. So Helene mentioned a lot of this, what we expect to come out of the workshop, looking at the SMART goals, the SWOT analysis, how we're going to get buy-in, not just from DOT, and keep this in mind, but also our other partners with the STIC. So the MPOs, the locals, other associations. This workshop is going to be about a 5-hour workshop on September 21st. Right now, we have about 14 people registered for it, but if you are interested in attending, please let us know beforehand. And that concludes it. We're looking forward to the workshop. If you have any questions, please let Brian and I know.
Okay. No questions. Thank you, Zenobia and Brian. And now for our feature presentation, Peter Berszatowski from NJDOT's Bureau of Transportation Data and Safety has prepared a video demonstrating an overview and some features of the Safety Voyager program. At this time, please welcome Peter, who will now share his screen and play the video for us. And I'm praying that he doesn't have issues as well as I did.
Thank you, Amanda. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Today's presentation will be about Safety Voyager. A little background, Safety Voyager started in approximately 2016. Since that time, the program has evolved into a platform that has been developed with user needs in mind. Based on valuable feedback provided from many users, modules, layers, filters, and graphics have been either improved or added. A 13-minute video will shortly be started that will provide some of the recent additions to Safety Voyager, as well as options that can be utilized for various analyses. Not everyone may be familiar with the terms that will be used in the video, so I will provide a quick explanation of the abbreviations prior to starting. NJTR1 refers to the crash report submitted to the police department to the NJDOT. This is the raw data that is then processed for Safety Voyager and run through various methods in Voyager for geocoding the data. SRI refers to state right identifier, and SPF refers to safety performance functions. That should cover most of the common terms that will be used in this video. So at this point, I will start. At the completion of the video, I can answer any questions as time permits. Please be aware that the volume for the video is controlled on every user's individual device. At this point, let me share screen. Hopefully this works. Great. Okay. And start the video. Of some of the features of the program, so let's get started. Safety Voyager is based on crash reports submitted to the NJDOT, known as NJTR1s. This is a sample of an NJTR1 form. The data that is provided on the NJTR1 is manually input into a database and verified by NJDOT verifiers. Next, this data is exported to Safety Voyager. The crash locations are then geocoded using various Safety Voyager algorithms and clustered based on level of zoom. The crash data that is provided on the NJTR1 may be queried based on a variety of filters in Safety Voyager. Examples of these filters include, but are not limited to, temporal crash details, location, crash type, traffic control, driver and occupant physical condition, road conditions, and vehicle contributing circumstances. The crash map, as can be seen here, provides the user the option to zoom to specific locations. In this example, Parkway Avenue and Lower Ferry Road. The crash map can also be overlaid with a satellite image. When the user selects a crash cluster, information is displayed providing cluster breakdown, route breakdown, and state breakdown. Also, all the crashes for the cluster are listed. When the user selects a specific crash, additional information is provided. The user is also able to view redacted NJTR1s when available. In the crash map, locations can be found by addresses or routes. When typing in a route, such as Route 37 in this example, Safety Voyager provides a histogram for the length of the route. The user is quickly able to identify locations of interest as well as use the visuals for presentations and reports. Mileposts and crash counts for milepost segments can be turned on or off. The crash map also has overlays for annual average daily traffic (AADT), ball banking information, and the recently added equity layer based on census data. To demonstrate how Safety Voyager may be used, let's analyze a sample location, Route 37 and Hooper Avenue in Toms River, New Jersey. This is an aerial visual of the location and the 4 approaches to the intersection. Route 37 runs east-west. An additional module available in Safety Voyager is the Weather module. The Weather module allows the user to query by rain, snow, or wind-related events. Using Route 37 and Hooper Avenue as an example, we can query for snow-related events at this location. Here, we type in the county, which is Ocean County, and the municipality, which is Toms River. We could also query by location, which is Route 37. We could select report parameters for years, as well as the type of crashes we are looking for, and additional statistics. Based on the selected fields in the weather module, a report is generated providing the locations listed by crash count and severity level, lighting conditions, road surface conditions, road type, road horizontal alignment, and road grade. Hooper Avenue is at approximately milepost 7.35, and on the report, this location is listed as the 4th location based on crash count by physical condition. An example of using this data may be in the preparation of snow removal efforts. The next module that can be utilized for analysis is the sun glare module. Similar to the weather module, this module provides the user with crashes related to sun glare and provides various statistics, charts, and a map. Entering the sun glare module, on the left, the user is able to select vehicle direction, time of day, and traffic control information, location, and temporal filters. On the right is a visual representation of crashes by time of day, top 25 crash locations, crashes by physical condition, crashes by severity, and time of day, as well as a crash breakdown by functional class of the roadway and posted speed limit. The user can query Route 37 as an SRI, and the information on the right is updated to reflect that query. The charts and tables on the right can be exported out of Safety Voyager and used in a variety of methods, such as presentations, Word documents, or in CSV format into Excel. This table provides the top 25 SRI locations based on crashes. The analyst can click the Map button in the upper right portion of the screen and be taken to a visual representation of the crashes located on the map. In this situation, Route 37, which was queried earlier. The analyst is able to use the second bar on top, time, and move it across the screen from left to right and see a visual representation of the sun and its placement in the sky at that time of day. This may provide the analyst with a better representation of the sun's factor in the crash. When scrolling into the map, the user is shown the crash via an arrow, which is the direction that was indicated on the NJTR1. When a crash is selected, additional information on the left is provided about the crash. This is information that is provided on the NJTR1 and populated for the user to use. On the right, the user is also able to change the heat map type setting to a point type setting, which is shown here, and points will be shown on the map. The user can also overlay a satellite image. Satellite imagery may provide additional information to find out additional factors for sun glare and building locations. As shown in the weather module, the sun glare module is also able to provide a report based on various selections by the user for queries. Based on physical condition, this report indicates that Hooper Avenue is not a top location on Route 37. Next, we will demonstrate the pedestrian analysis module. The pedestrian module provides a wide array of graphical charts to provide information on a state level or based on the user query. Information on the charts includes crashes involving pedestrians versus bicyclists, physical condition breakdown, frequency of involvement by age, crashes by traffic control code, crashes by day of the week, pedestrian fatality based on speed, the 20 most recent fatalities in their location, as well as top school locations for crashes less than 1 mile, and top bus stop locations for crashes less than 150 feet from the stop. This module also allows the user to query at a statewide level, an MPO level, a county level, municipality level, or by an SRI. The next module is the pedestrian heat map module. The pedestrian heat map module provides additional information about pedestrian-related crashes and shows the crashes in a heat map type display on the crash map. As the user scrolls in, the crashes become more detailed. In this scenario, we are looking at Woodbury on Route 45. The user can query based on date, pedestrian or bicyclist, or both, severity, and crash attributes. Once the criteria is selected, the crashes are displayed and updated on the map. When a crash is selected, additional information is populated. Information from the NJTR1 is also displayed in this module. The user is able to select overlays, such as schools, which will provide a school. If the user selects the school, a radius will be drawn around the school and crashes that are located within that radius. When selecting the school, additional statistics are also shown in the lower left-hand corner. As with the previous modules, in this module, the user can also select different visual overlays, such as satellite imagery, roadway imagery, If the user is looking for more detailed information about pedestrians, they could always return to the crash map. The crash map in this scenario will be used to analyze Woodbury from a pedestrian perspective. As the user zooms into the Woodbury locations, the crashes will populate on the map. On the right, the filter menu can be opened and the criteria can be selected. In this scenario, we will be choosing pedestrians and cyclists. The crash map is updated to reflect the selection by the user. Overlay, such as the equity layer, can be selected. When the user clicks in any of the areas of the overlay, detailed information is provided about the equity layer. If the user selects a crash cluster and crash breakdown, additional information about the crash is provided. Also, the user can go right into the Google Streets Map view at this location. Safety Voyager has been designed to provide as much information as possible for the user within the program. The Updates blog provides the user with updated tutorials about the program, as well as self-guided tours, unmatched crash data records, and any updates that are provided to the program. As a next step, the NJ is currently in a pilot study for the SPF tool. This is a program that is currently being utilized by other DOTs for predictive analysis. Safety Voyager geocoded crash data will be used in the SPF tool. The SPF tool will also utilize the safety performance functions developed for New Jersey, but is capable of generating new and updated SPFs based on available and uploaded data into the program. The program provides the user with graphical displays for many functions, such as urban four-leg signalized intersections. In this example, the SPF tool shows the crash frequency of locations in New Jersey. The user is able to see the locations on a visual 3D graphical display. This graphical representation provides a quick view of locations experiencing a higher frequency of crashes. Additional details are also provided in charts. The graphical 3D display can also be expanded into a full screen view. When a point is selected on the chart, the map is also updated to provide the location. The SPF tool is also able to do CMF analysis. In this situation, a CMF factor is applied, and you can see where the decrease will be and if the location will have a lower expected crash frequency. An additional feature of the tool is to be able to do a benefit to cost ratio. This concludes the Safety Voyager presentation and highlights some of the modules and features of the platform, as well as joint efforts and utilization of programs such as the SPF tool for predictive analysis. Thank you. I guess at this point we can open it up to any questions if we have time.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there actually is a question in the chat box from Helene Roberts who asks, who has access to Safety Voyager?
So access to Safety Voyager is provided to government organizations, so state government, MPOs, and anyone dealing on a government project. So if there's a consultant that is working on a government project, whether it's county level, municipality, they would be able to get access to Voyager pending providing the project manager from that organization and project information.
Okay, thank you.
Amy Kaminsky has her hand raised, and also I asked a follow-up question about how the people that are eligible to have access get the access.
And Helene, I just put the link into the chat box, and there's a link for an email request if any local governments, MPOs, need access to that. Peter, if you have any information, feel free to chime in.
Usually, as soon as we get the request, it goes to our admin email, and we verify if it comes from a government email, then access is usually provided within 24 hours, even less. But we usually give a 24-hour turnaround for access. And also, if there's a learning institution that's working on grant applications for the state or county level, we also grant access for that as well. Amy,
My
I guess.
question- Yeah, towards the end of your presentation, you brought up some interesting attributes that you can pick up and use to dig into the data. Is that available right now on Safety Voyager? Is that in a demo mode, or how does one gain access to that information?
Amy, are you speaking about the SPF tool?
Yeah.
So the SPF tool is actually a standalone project created by the Tatum Group. It's a different company that we're on a pilot license with them right now, and we wanted to see what data requirements would be for that program compared to other programs we've tested. So right now there's a license, and we sent out an email actually for training for the program. So the way the license agreement works right now, it will be temporary for the MPOs for the training, and then pending how the outcome of this pilot, which is wrapping up, will determine how we're going to proceed with the license agreement in the future. So I hope that answers your questions kind of a little bit roundabout way, but no, there's not access, but there may be access.
Great, thank you so much. Really great presentation.
Thank you. Any other questions? Somebody asked here, can you tell us which firms, institutions, or agencies were on the development team? The development team consists of, it was actually DOT, GPI, and FHWA is kind of the actual development team, but we take feedback. A lot of feedback is provided from the MPOs. Amy, I know from NJTPA provided feedback in the past, and DVRPC, I think we got some feedback before in SJTPO. So as well as consultants, basically the feedback we receive, that's how we kind of develop the program for those needs. We also have focus groups. We were going to start a focus group for external users. However, COVID started at that exact same time. So we kept it internal. So right now we have an internal focus group of various users in the DOT to kind of help push the program forward and develop new modules or new uses. And then we're going to be expanding that out to an external focus group as well in the near future.
Peter, this is Mike. One of the things worth mentioning also is through the Strategic Highway Safety Plan, there are emphasis area teams. Those emphasis area teams have very specific and focused concerns. And the feedback from that group is also making its way to you. And you have made improvements and adjustments to Safety Voyager, at the request of those emphasis area teams to try to support their individual efforts as well. So there are multiple, I guess, sources of input and feedback that we receive and that Peter is receptive to in trying to customize our primary customer needs.
That's a great point, Mike. Thank you. And so certain modules, if there's something internal for a certain organization, some of the modules are available to only certain users as well. So some may be internal to DOT, some are made external and internal. So that's if you have any feedback or would like to provide any comments, we're always welcome and receptive, like Mike said, to develop the program further or to work with different users.
Peter, thank you. Your efforts are obvious. Thank you for the contribution you've made to this. This tool has advanced incredibly over the past 6 months, I would say, and reflects that you're listening and that you're receptive to the user's needs. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for your personal effort putting this together. This was a very informative presentation and really shows Safety Voyager in a very good light. Thank you for your hard work.
And thank you. I'd like to thank everybody too that's worked on this program in the past. Chris Zajac played a big role, and Steve and Nicole, and And Mike always provides good feedback with Zenobia as well. So thank you everyone for getting it to the point where it is, and all the external stakeholders as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, that's great. All right, so next up, we have a bonus presentation. The New Jersey STIC executive team applied for a STIC incentive grant to develop a STIC communications plan. That project is now finalized, and we'd like to share the results with you today. So please welcome David Amon from Rutgers University's Allen M. Voorhees Transportation Center. David is the principal investigator for NJDOT's Technology Transfer and Implementation Contract, which is out of my bureau, and it includes supporting the New Jersey STIC with activities such as this, among many others. And after David's presentation, I'll be leading an interactive polling activity where you will all need your cell phones, so just get them handy. We're going to be using this opportunity to engage directly with you, our valued STIC members, to make sure that we're capturing all things innovative and all things EDC that you're doing. We want to make sure that we're not missing the boat on your efforts and want every opportunity to showcase your successes and lessons learned. Whether that means writing and posting an article about what you're doing, producing a very professional video, hosting a tech talk or webinar here at NJDOT or virtually, etc. We have the means and the resources to do so, but it really all depends on you, our council members, feeding us content and communicating to us, and sharing your successes and also your lessons learned. So as David is presenting, please keep that in mind, because we'll be asking you some questions at the end. So, David?
Okay, can you hear me? All right. Good morning. This presentation is going to provide an overview of the New Jersey STIC communications plan. You want to put the next slide up, Amanda?
This one?
No, the one just before that.
Oh, that one? There might be a delay.
Okay, maybe one before that.
So it's the cover. I'm looking at the cover.
Yeah, I'm not looking at. Yeah,
That's up.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not seeing the cover, but we'll just keep going.
Cover, because I'm seeing it on my screen.
Okay.
So I see the cover and it says NJ STIC communications plan, and then there's some bullets.
Okay, well, okay, for whatever reason, I don't see that. I'm sorry about that. This presentation is going to provide an overview of the STIC communications plan, and the development of the plan was funded in part by a STIC incentive grant and prepared on behalf of the New Jersey Department of Transportation's Bureau of Research, which is the administrative lead for the management of the STIC, NJ STIC. The grant was used to prepare the plan, develop tools to brand and distribute STIC-related communications, and conduct interviews with individuals who are working on advancing innovations. The grant also supported staffing for assistance in event planning and note-taking at some recent STIC meetings. Here's the next slide. The New Jersey STIC communication plan supports the mission of the New Jersey STIC stated here, which is to identify, evaluate, and rapidly deploy new technologies and process improvements to accelerate project delivery and improve the safety and quality of transportation in New Jersey. Next slide. The New Jersey STIC seeks to foster a culture favorable to exploring and advancing innovations in transportation. The communications plan affirms this goal and seeks to improve the STIC's effectiveness through continuing communications and engagement with STIC stakeholders. The plan seeks to increase awareness of the FHWA's Everyday Counts program and the New Jersey STIC by identifying a toolbox of communication tools, methods, and strategies that will be used to document performance, capture and share information on innovative initiatives, and promote implementation of the initiatives throughout the state. Next slide. The plan briefly introduces the New Jersey STIC organizational framework, including the key roles and responsibilities as described in the NJ STIC charter. The core innovation areas' central importance for investigating, developing, and carrying out implementation efforts and reporting are highlighted. Next slide. NJ STIC members are a cross-section of various stakeholders from state and federal agencies, local governments, academia, and industry, as shown here. I'm not seeing that slide, but I assume it's being shown somewhere. Okay. Different types of communications are needed to reach various audiences and to raise awareness of the NJ STIC and the Everyday Accounts program, and to highlight noteworthy success stories, continuing challenges, and the lessons learned that agencies are having towards when they're working toward the deployment of promising innovations. Next slide. One of the central challenges for the communications plan is identifying content that's ripe for sharing with others. The plan includes a section identifying innovative practices that describes various ways that information about model practices in use at NJDOT and among our transportation partners is captured for possible use in future communications, highlighting innovation deployment. Beyond progress reports, one of the most informative ways has been through featured presentations given by the CIA leads, incentive grant recipients, and other local public agencies at NJ STIC meetings. Next slide. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, STIC meetings have been held on various online platforms. The virtual platform has reduced some barriers to overall participation at STIC meetings and made it possible to exchange information with a greater number of participants than would have been possible in an in-person meeting at NJDOT headquarters. Some meetings have included breakout session workshops where attendees have met in smaller groups. Whether in person or online, though, topics for future articles, videos, and future presentations have often bubbled up from these processes, along with feedback from participants about technical assistance and training needs. Next slide. Beyond these events, the plan notes several other ways that innovative practices have been or can be identified. The Innovative Initiatives Survey asks local agencies to identify practices that deserve recognition, to encourage greater deployment, and to identify topics that warrant greater priority for STIC funding, research, technical assistance, and training. Even key informant interviews on priority topics have been held with the CIA leads and their supporting teams, grant recipients, and other local public agencies to support innovation. These interviews are useful in prioritizing a list of hot topics, and they help to define the media or the technical assistance approach through which to deliver information. Semi-annual progress reports submitted to FHWA, such as those that Helene discussed earlier, ideas submitted through the Innovative Ideas database at NJDOT, and various formal and informal meetings and events are other channels which are being used to inform a list of hot topics for communications. Next slide. The plan also describes several strategies that are being used to promote and convey information about innovations in a chapter that's called Accelerating Innovation Through the Communications Toolbox. The Toolbox chapter mentions the NJ STIC section of the NJDOT Technology Transfer website, which stores a summary, the presentations, and a recording of each STIC quarterly meeting. The Innovative Initiatives section of the website also focuses on the status of the Everyday Count initiatives that the New Jersey STIC has embraced. From this page, you can learn about the individual innovations, see their current stage and goal for innovation over the next 2-year round, and get briefed on recent efforts to advance innovation in the state. Next slide.
There, David.
I can't see it, but I'll consider it there.
There.
Fact sheets and infographics provide an overview of select innovative initiatives. These fact sheets will be prepared and distributed at events and made available on the NJDOT Technology Transfer website, where the research supports and the research findings can be communicated succinctly. An infographic will be created with visual representations, simplified statistics, and icons. Next slide.
Okay, you're good.
Lunchtime and other tech talks and webinars are presentations that highlight current and best practices, give attention to new and emerging issues in transportation, and explore the findings and implications of recent transportation research. Some past tech talks have focused on STIC-related themes such as safe transportation for every pedestrian, weather-responsive management measures for adaptive traffic signal control systems, among other topics. In early October, as Zenobia mentioned, we're going to be holding a webinar on virtual public involvement, which of course you're all invited to attend. I had earlier put a link in the chat box that you could use to get more info and to register for the event. Next slide.
Okay, it's up.
It's on its way.
It's up.
Okay. Peer exchanges create an opportunity for peers, experts, and others involved in a particular topic to exchange ideas and best practices on topics to benefit research, development, and implementation of innovations. Peer exchanges on everyday counts initiatives can be offered as a collaboration between NJDOT and FHWA with some pre-planning.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yep, videos have been proven to be an effective way to inform the public about innovative initiatives in use in New Jersey and or at NJDOT, such as the UAS program, pavement preservation treatments, or pedestrian safety countermeasures. We're always in the hunt for a good idea for a video, so please forward those thoughts along to Amanda or myself as we have some resources to produce videos on innovation cases. Next slide.
Hi, you're ready to go.
The New Jersey Department of Transportation Tech Transfer News is distributed quarterly and contains one or more STIC-themed and branded articles, which broadens the audience of persons learning about everyday accounts and NJ's innovation efforts. The NJDOT Technology Transfer Program uses social media outlets such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube for posting content, and coordinates with NJDOT's social media coordinator on communications of particular interest to a broader audience that subscribe to the NJDOT feed. Those on the STIC email distribution list also receive occasional news blasts on articles, upcoming or recently held STIC-related Tech Talk events and training calendar notices. Next slide.
Right, ready?
Several calendars are on the Technology Transfer website to assist users in accessing training materials. Of particular note, the FHWA and other entities have developed and stored self-paced online training courses and webinars on topics aligned with everyday counts. You can find trainings on crowdsourcing, pedestrian safety, advanced geotechnical methods, strategic workforce development, and virtual public involvement, among other topics. Next slide.
Thank you, good to go.
The NJ STIC communication plan provides a general schedule for the use of various tools that are in the toolbox, many of which are to be used on a regular basis, while others are to be used as needed. The plan includes a table with a listing of recently conducted and planned communication strategies for each innovation topic. The table can be periodically updated to reflect the emerging needs identified from interviews, surveys, and other forms of feedback for identifying innovative practices as already described. Next slide. So I'll just wrap up by saying the plan wants to make clear that we're always interested in identifying and promoting innovative practices. If you have accomplishments that can be shared with the transportation community, please contact us. The plan can be downloaded at the URL address shown here, but it's not there, so I'll send it to you in the chat pod in a moment, which is the location where you can find this the communications plan. Next slide. Okay, so at this point, we would love to do a short interactive exercise with you on Mentimeter. If you get your cell phone out, and then you go to your browser and you type in www.menti.com. And if you've been able to do that, you can type in the numeric code that's shown on the screen here. I'll give everybody a second to do that, and I'll pass the baton back to Amanda.
Okay, I'm going to do the same thing while everybody else is doing that. I think once you get into the poll, there's a little heart button. If you click that button, I think that lets us know that you are here and participating. I'm gonna give it a minute or so and let everyone join. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so I'm sharing. What you're looking at on the screen right now is the live result of the polling exercise. So if you see in the bottom right-hand corner, we have about 40 people that are on, and that number is rising. That gives us a sense of how many people are participating. That number is going up, at 44 right now. That's good. Okay, again, if you're on that screen, just click the little heart, letting us know that you're here. Wow, we got 55. Good. Good numbers. When we used to meet in person, we were limited by the capacity of the multipurpose room, which is about 50 people. So this online platform has been really great in opening up this meeting to all those who want to participate. So I'm glad to see that there was about 95 or so participants on the call, at least midway through our meeting. So that was great. We still have a good chunk of people with us. 80 plus. That's good. All right. So we have about 58 people. I think you could still join as we're going. Slow down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and advance to the next slide, and we'll start our poll. So this is kind of a warm-up question. Choose one of the options on your phone of where you would like to be now. We've got high up in the sky on a hot air balloon. We've got, it looks like a meadow and some mountains, maybe volcanoes. I don't know. I don't know if you want to be there if that's an active volcano, or riding on a unicorn as a cat with some rainbows in the background. All right, so this is kind of how you'll be seeing the results in the next couple slides. You'll see the numbers move and jump as you're entering your votes. So it looks like most people are choosing option number 2.
That was quite the selection you gave us there. Yeah, the unicorn or the volcano or the hot air balloon.
I
Yeah.
cannot take credit for that, but I really like it. I chose option number 3. That looks most fun.
I chose the one that most people chose, the volcano one.
I mean, it could be a mountain. I'm not sure, but
something about it looks just peaceful and nice, and yeah, I guess that's why most people chose it.
Yeah,
the
so it looks like
realists.
for that. At least 10 other people are 12, 11 other people are riding on this unicorn with me. So I'm happy I'm in good company. And there's seven people, you know, jammed on that little basket on the hot air balloon. Might not stay afloat for long if more people pick that. So all right, so I'm gonna let's see, I'm gonna close the voting on this and then move on to the next slide, which is our actual survey. So this is an easy question. Which agency type do you represent?
Okay, so we've got the numbers rolling in. Lots of DOT people to be expected. Decent amount of MPO people. Couple of feds. Some academia, some industry. Lots of DOT people. Whoa, they're all going in. A couple more feds. Some counties, municipal. And we got a good mix here. No others, though. Nobody falls into other. Nobody doesn't fall into any of these categories. That's good. We don't have any outsiders.
I mean, I think we want to try to raise our municipal participation and maybe our county participation as well.
Yeah, and I see there's no obviously, or apparently there are no other agency people here because they would fall into the other category. So I don't see it. I don't think there's anyone here from other agencies. You know, not including MPOs.
Yeah.
But I think we have a nice little distribution here. I mean, this is pretty much what I would expect.
Good representation from the MPOs as well. That was my late vote. I'm participating at the same time. All right. So I think we've got most of our votes here, so that's great to see. Someone chose other. I'm wondering.
Oh, we do have another. Okay. Well, if you're other and you want to tell us where you're from, you can unmute and let us know if you feel like it.
This is Melanie Murphy. I'm from the Tennessee DOT, and I'm kind of listening in. Wasn't sure about participating because I'm kind of observing today. But then when you guys kind of called me out, I was like, oh, let me make it known that I'm here.
Hi, Melanie, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
it's
great. Yeah, it's
Melanie
great.
We had a really good conversation a few weeks ago about how to fold the stick into the research program. So I invited her along to see how we run things. Usually it goes smoother than this, Melanie, but you know, you can kind of get the gist of what we're doing here. We have a lot of fun with it. So
I'll second what Amanda said. We usually don't have the snafus that we were encountering today. I'm going to vouch for her on that.
That's hey, with virtual, you never know what's going to happen. That's what keeps it fun.
You never know, right? As the VPI people, as Brian noted in his VPI update.
I'm so happy that the meeting kept going without me. So that just proves how I guess I'm dispensable. I don't know what to say.
No, you have a good team. You have a great team.
All
Well,
right,
good
I'm
thing
gonna,
Good preparation.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna close the voting on this and move on to the next one. Okay, so this question is the EDC STIC's innovations most beneficial to my organization are, and here you have all of the options and you can choose up to 4 innovations.
This is a hard one. You guys get 4 out to pick out of the 7. So you can't pick. At first I'm like, oh, I'll just pick them all because I work for Federal Highway and I should pick all of them. But I see I can only pick 4. So I'm going to have to choose.
We got some close.
So let's see. Wow, VPI has a lot of interest, which is what we have been seeing when we do these polls and these meetings. Strategic workforce development. I'm surprised by the turnout for that one, but that's great to see. Our lowest one is e-ticketing and digital as-built, so maybe we can get the numbers up there a little bit. Not trying to sway you in any direction or anything like that, because I want this to be. I want this to be a genuine, data, scientific data. So we have VPI as the leader, and strategic workforce development. Has a lot of interest, which is great. Next Gen TIM, I'm not surprised to see that. E-ticketing still struggling there, but they're, it's in the running. There's a lot of interest in that still, and it's so they're all good, but we can see where the clusters are. Let me see. Yeah. It's a nice distribution there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much what we've been seeing, Amanda, except for strategic workforce development. That was a little bit of a surprise, but good to see the interest level in that one.
Yeah, I think there's a need. There's a need and there's a lot of interest. So I think after the Let's Go workshop this month, I think we'll have a really good sense of direction, and I think it'll prove beneficial, that workshop. So looking forward to that. Okay, so I'm going to close the voting on this. I'm going to move on to the next one. Next question is, mobilizing an FHWA resource specialist to provide a training would be most helpful for, and again, you have those choices.
So Amanda, do you want us to do at each one of these? I guess we do the scale for each one of these.
Yeah, there's a scale of 0, meaning no need, or please make this happen on a scale of 10. So you take your thumb or whatever and you move that circle on your phone up and down the scale to choose which one. And you can skip some, or you could vote on all of them. And then you scroll all the way to the bottom of the list on your phone and
Don't forget to hit the submit button on the bottom after you vote, or your votes won't get counted. And I like the way the scale is moving around and shows the distribution as well as the I guess that's an average there, and then the distribution. So it shows the data in a couple of ways, which is nice. So we need help with strategic workforce. That's our biggest number, tops less, and that's to be expected given that we are a lead state nationally. So that's to be expected. UHPC, we're pretty far along with that. So also that one's lower. Strategic workforce might be an area where we need some assistance. VPI is pretty high. We need some more assistance there. E-ticketing and digital as-built, I would agree. We need some help with that one. A lot of the responses are up there. 19 of the responses are up there at the highest level. That's right. if you put your,
Amanda, if you move your mouse over the different things, it looks like it'll show.
yeah, it'll show us the distribution. So I was wondering, I'm like, wait, why can I see the distribution in that one and I can't see it in the other ones? Okay, so Amanda, you're showing us by scrolling over them the distribution of the data. So yeah, e-ticketing and digital as-built had a lot of people up at the top of the scale. There's that please make this happen and strategic workforce looked sort of similar. Yeah, there's a bump there at I guess what would be an 8 and then another bump up there at what would be a 10. Top seems pretty well distributed. UHPC seems to be a little less evenly distributed. There are a bunch of them up there at 10, but there were other people scattered throughout. So a little less evenly distributed. So a little bit of dissent there. VPI, they're huddled up pretty close to the upper end of the scale. This is some pretty useful information to have. Looks like we definitely need some help in the strategic workforce area. That's the one of the major things I would glean from this. Good to know. Thanks for filling that out. So hopefully everybody hit submit and didn't forget to do that so we could see everybody's response in that one.
I just opened the voting back up just in case there's any last minute people that need to hit submit. All right, I'm going to close and then move on to the next. Okay, next question. What innovation has your organization advanced that offers useful lessons learned for others? Now, this is something that you have to click on the box and type in your own answer. You have 250 characters. Short answers are recommended.
And don't forget to hit the submit button.
Submit, and you can submit multiple answers.
What we're trying to get out here is PIC, P-I-C. What's PIC? Somebody want to, I don't know if you can clarify somewhere, chat box.
Just type it in again, the actual.
Can you do that? If you submit something, can you submit another one? You can submit multiple answers. So whoever put in PIC, you might want to just clarify what that means. Make sure if you're using acronyms, try to spell them out if there are going to be people on that might not understand what that acronym means. I do know what TIM means and I do know what VPI means, but PIC is a payment preservation, public engagement database,
and now
public information center. Okay, public information center. Nice. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you, people who were clarifying. VPI, there's a lot of VPI stuff in here. Virtual information centers. I need to scroll. Amanda, I need you to scroll down. I can't. So our answers are going off the planning information, geocoded, pavement preservation, virtual public outreach, applications of Voyager, maybe Voyager, regional sidewalk inventory gap, public information center, UAV uses, preventive maintenance programs and projects, weather savvy deployment. That's a good one. Yeah, weather savvy deployment, and how that's going and what, updated contractor compliance reviews, VPI, more VPI, Safety Voyager, UHPC, rehab and preservation applications, national and international experience sharing, electronic document reviews. Waiting for some more to come in. I don't see advancements in pavement materials. It only says 28 at the bottom, Amanda. Does that mean that 28 people have responded? Is that what that means?
Yeah, and not everyone's going to have
Right.
here.
Yeah, I think we have
There's a couple more coming in.
Oh, good. Okay.
DB commercially useful functions.
We did have a few in the civil rights area that I saw here, Amanda.
Civil rights one.
Yeah, the DB one, there was the contractor compliance one was another one. So we did have a few civil rights areas in here. Expo Tactical Urbanism Program. Okay, that might require some, that might require some explanation. If somebody is willing to explain Expo Tactical Urbanism Program, I could definitely say that I don't know too much about that or what that is, but it sounds very interesting.
Hi, that was me. This is Greg at DVRPC.
Hi, Greg.
Hi. Yeah, I'm not sure who's lesson learned for others. I guess it depends on who the others are, but maybe some of the other MPOs at least would be interested. This is a new program that we've been working on over the last couple of years. So tactical urbanism, the idea is to pilot experimental treatments, working with municipalities that are motivated and want to try things out and see how they perform, as opposed to, you know, evaluating them and modeling them in advance for a longer period of time. So, for example, we have a project out in Collingswood in Camden County around the Patco station that is around bike and ped access improvements to the Patco station. And one of the things they're trying out is an advisory bike lane, which we think is probably the first time that's been tried in New Jersey. It's certainly the first time it's been tried in our region. It's basically if a street's not wide enough for full bike lanes, mark dashed bike lanes on the side of the street, and cars are allowed to move into the bike lanes to pass other cars, but otherwise they function as bike lanes. So it's a temporary treatment. Municipalities not sure if they want to stick with it over the long haul, but they're getting to try it out as part of the Expo project. So that's something we've been a program we've been developing and building a pipeline of municipal partners in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and getting to try a number of cool things out.
Very interesting. That's really interesting. We might want to hear more about that actually at a future STIC meeting, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or we can use elements of David's communications plan to share that information. So thank you. That sounds really interesting. More Safety Voyager, advancements in pavement materials, integrated corridor management studies, innovative research programs, and again, EEO and AA compliance reviews, reducing fatalities on highways, ITS architecture. We have a whole large gamut co-authored UHPC training courses with AASHTO TC3, alternative contracting approaches, good one, transit-oriented development, partnerships with state agencies and municipalities, bicycle safety on highways. There's a lot here. David, this might be a good list to get you started. What do you say?
I think that's.
I think
very
so.
helpful. I don't know if there's anybody else that wants to throw anything else out there about what they're doing, which they volunteered. But yes, this is a good list. At the very end, Amanda, please just stress that if individuals could write their name in the last piece, it will be the most helpful for tracking people down a little bit later for further interviews and conversations and so on.
Yeah, there's another one, Together North Jersey. So anybody who there's another one in there, Together North Jersey.
Yeah, so like I said in my presentation, you know, it really depends on you all feeding us content, and it's important that we're able to get in touch with you to ask some questions to see if it fits into, you know, one of our formats for communicating, you know, videos, articles, tech talks, you know, presentation at one of these STIC meetings. A couple of our really successful STIC meetings have been when we have outside non-NJDOT entities come in and do presentations. We find them very interesting and engaging. And as you know, New Jersey STIC is not just about NJDOT and what we're doing. It's a collaborative relationship. So, we're relying on you to help us out and, get out there and show us what you're doing, what lessons you've learned. It's really important. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the voting. We did have a last one, cloud-based GIS sidewalk inventory tool. There was a couple of sidewalk ones in there, so.
And I'm just going to second what Amanda said, and that, these presentations that we've had from other entities besides the DOT and Federal Highway have been really interesting and eye-opening. So, I mean, even just that discussion about the expo has been eye-opening. So please give your contact information to us so that we can reach out to you to get more information.
All right, so next question is, what innovation in New Jersey should be more widely shared with the STIC membership and others? So, I'm anticipating that we might be seeing the same, some of the same answers from the last slide, but this is anything innovative in New Jersey that should be shared with the STIC and others. And again, you have to type your answer in and hit submit. You can submit multiple answers.
Okay, so I'm waiting for, you may have to advance the slide. I know in Mentimeter, I had to advance to the next slide. So you might have to hit that advance to next slide button. I had to for some reason. Maybe
Nope.
That's because I did. I think it's because I didn't put any input in the last one. I was too busy reading everybody else's stuff. Next Gen Tim, Safety Voyager. And this doesn't just have to be everyday counts initiatives, right, Amanda? This can be any kind of initiative. It doesn't have to be everyday counts.
Our focus is EDC, but the STIC showcase is all innovative.
I see a lot of interest. There's a common theme over the past couple slides about Safety Voyager. I think the presentation really sort of sparked a lot of interest in Safety Voyager. So I do see a common theme with that. Alternatives to using ultra high performance concrete for bridge decks, drones, alternative project delivery, more Safety Voyager.
Peter's gonna be busy.
Yep. Somebody drummed up some business for himself here. Tim, got some more Tim. Planning information geocoded database. We saw that in the last responses. The asset management systems. Asphalt improvements beyond super pave. So some asphalt mix considerations in there. Yes, innovations. I'm sorry. Okay. Question. Oh, hold on. I see a question for David, Eamon, Helene, STIC presentation. Just provide avenues for highlighting innovative. David, did you see that? And Amanda, did you see that question in the chat?
Yes,
David
Jeffrey Vernick.
I'd be happy to talk with Jeff, but I definitely believe that the innovations that local public agencies and the MPOs are doing should be a regular and continuing subject for articles, videos, future presentations at the STIC meeting and in other forum. We're doing a tech talk next month on virtual public involvement, and we're featuring some initiatives that DVRPC has done as part of that, as an example of an MPO activity. And that's something that we are always looking to do. I think one of the more important, I think that as Amanda mentioned, we had a local public area, we had a local public agency day at STIC where we had a number of presentations. And I think that's a great idea to do that again. And I think we're getting a great list of possible topics for such something like that on the agenda.
We have another asset management person driving FRP sheeting. Yeah, maybe vibrating FRP sheeting, perhaps. Partial bridge header reconstruction with ultra high performance concrete, the project management and reporting system, design, build, and project bundling. So again, alternative contracting methods, effective police usage for safety on construction projects. We have a whole gamut of topics here. Crash data. More crash data.
Great. Getting a lot of good feedback.
In the chat, Deanna said she definitely supports bringing in more municipal representatives and that she can broadcast it to the Society of Municipal Engineers, and she thanked us. In case you didn't see that, Amanda.
Thank you, Mary.
Improved traffic striping materials. A lot of good feedback here.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close voting.
Public-private partnership just showed up.
Okay. Okay, so moving on to the next question. I'd like to see an innovation case study video about, and this is, fill in the blank thing. So go ahead and type in any type of innovation case study that you would like to see. Don't forget to hit submit.
Yeah, I think Deanna, in response to your comment there about bringing in more municipal engineers, I think with this platform that we've been using for the STIC meetings, we can bring more people in. I mean, we've seen that with this meeting. We almost hit 100 people. So with this platform, we're able to bring more people in, which is good. So we have a modern roundabout case study, strategic workforce development, drones, successful local road safety plan that was implemented, emergency response after a storm. Somebody that brought up the FRP sheet piling is back. Cracks and bridge decks, that's a good one. Public-private partnership as it pertains to TIM. STEP implementation, reducing congestion on roadways, drones, local aid design assistance program overview and benefits. I think we're getting some great ideas here. Thank you, everyone. Oh, we'll take more e-ticketing, low carbon concrete. We'll definitely take more suggestions here. Safety improvements for high-risk rural roads. And I just hope everyone here is aware on the STIC that there are webinars on reducing rural roadway departures. It's been going on for months now, and I send the announcements out to our STIC members. Hopefully those are getting shared with you, with the other people on the call. I send them out to our core STIC members. Road diets, e-ticketing, I already said that one. E-construction, reduction of
Amanda, Helene, this format, this is fantastic because I don't think we ever got this kind of interaction doing this in person. So as you mentioned earlier, doing this in a virtual environment like this, people seem to be a lot freer in communicating their thoughts. This is a great approach to take.
Thank you. I can't take credit for that, David. Thank you for suggesting this.
Great.
Reduction of truck traffic on state highways, road diets, joint use parking management approaches, more e-construction. Yeah, I'd like to see some e-construction information too that we can use. Roadway requirements for automated vehicles, signs, pavement markings, signals.
Great feedback. Okay, I'm gonna close voting for now, and oh, there's one more, couple more.
Complete streets. Infrastructure design incorporating resiliency. That's a good one. We're getting some really good ideas here.
Now they're starting to roll in. So yeah, if you have
Truck
any
traffic on local roads. Yeah.
if you have any last minute thoughts, enter them now. I'm gonna close and move on to the next one.
Hurry before Amanda closes the poll. Weather responsive management strategies.
If I
Access.
too soon, just put it in the chat box.
Access management, best practices. We're running the gamut here.
Good. So we have about half the people entered some votes. So that's great. All right. So I'm going to close the voting and move on to the next. Okay. So if you have an idea or innovation that you would like to share, please leave your contact info here. So all the information that you input in the last couple of slides is going to be very difficult to track down unless you let us know who you are and how to contact you. So please.
Also, yeah, what the initiative is that you are talking about would be helpful too.
I think, Helene, we have that information from the other answers. So what we really need here is for people to put their name in contact information, how they can be reached in here, so that we can track it down and sort it out a little bit further.
They don't have to write down their topics, just their name.
What the initiative, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize that we knew who was answering, who was putting the input in.
I don't want to, yes, I don't want to reveal everything, but yes, we should be able to sort that out.
Well,
and hopefully we'll be
able to, yeah.
We want you down.
In the interest of full disclosure, yes.
So thank you, Joe. I'll leave that up for a while. People have to type in their full email.
Thanks, everybody, for submitting your follow-up contact information.
Yeah, so that's the last portion of our survey. Oops.
Are you still letting them send it in case they're taking a while to type, perhaps? Or no, or did we closed it?
Did I mess up? Oh no.
Well, if you missed it, put it in the put it in the chat.
Oh, it was still there.
Okay.
There. Yeah, I'm still seeing. Are you still seeing it, Helene? The answer.
I don't know what I'm seeing. You know, I haven't been answering these questions, so yeah, I'm back on another question, and for some reason I can't see this question anymore. I thought I did have this question.
We've got Sue, we've got Jeffrey Vernick, Robert Clark, Bill McGarrigle, Joseph, Amir. All right, so we still have some coming in.
Yeah, just don't leave it open. Amanda, just don't close it. Don't close it.
Yeah, I didn't close it. What I wanted to do was go to the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Let me look up. I have too many screens open. So while people are typing in their contact information,
you probably want to share your full screen.
Always the solution is to hit escape. Go back to quick. It's pulling up my PowerPoint again. I gotta skip through all the slides real quick. Keep on entering your emails. If you don't, like I said, we'll still hunt you down. We will find you some way, but entering your contact information just gives us easier time of it. Even the right one. That's okay, because the last couple of slides are the same anyway. All right. So basically what I wanted to share with you were some reminders and announcements for what's going to be happening in the future. So don't forget that we have our tech transfer website that was referred to several times. It's njdottechtransfer.net, and you will find all things STIC related, all things research related, innovation. There's articles, there's videos, there's these meeting recordings, all the videos that we've done, you know, the pavement preservation videos, the drone videos, all the things that we referred to today. This is our home base. So please visit that. And the New Jersey STIC has a dedicated drop-down list, drop-down menu of all types of STIC activities and meeting recordings, presentations, and summaries. And David mentioned our tech transfer newsletter, and that's also there. You can subscribe by going on that website, and you can see all the past articles and issues of that. And that is it for me. Mike, if you have any last minute words, now is your chance to close it out.
You and Helene and the team have outdone yourselves again. I noticed also that folks seem to stay longer at these events. They stick it out. There's a lot of very good, useful information in here today. As I said earlier, this format I thought was a fantastic approach. You seem to get more participation from folks. I guess people like to be anonymous to some extent, although David kind of spilled the beans and told them that they're not anonymous. But it went very well, and I thank everyone for all the hard work. And you're right, Safety Voyager. Peter is going to be very busy. We've already volunteered him for the next senior leadership meeting. So thank you everybody for participating. I want to particularly thank Snell Patel and Assistant Commissioner Andrew Tenard for their support. They're here every time. They support us all the time, and I want to thank you for that. As well as everyone else who participates in these STIC Council meetings. So thank you.
Mike and Amanda, John Jar asked if we could get a copy of the Voyager presentation slides.
The slides and everything's going to be posted on our New Jersey STIC webpage after this meeting, the recording, everything. So all that will be available on the NJDOTechtransfer.net website. And one more thing before we go, I just wanted to let everyone know that our annual NJDOT Research Showcase is coming up, and the registration is open for that. So our theme this year is smart transportation, and we will be having a keynote speaker from the governor's office, and also a panel of members from different agencies, NJDEP, major car manufacturer, NJDOT, It's going to be really interesting, so please register for that. It's going to be virtual, and it is at the end of October, so it's coming up soon. And that is it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you
Take
for
care.
the
Thank you.
feedback.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
guys. Thank you. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Amanda, do you want us to stay on or no? Can
Thank you.
I go?
I'm good. I'm stopping the recording and I'm saving the participant right now. Thank you, Diane, for your
Thank you.
reminder.
Thank you, Amanda.
Right, you just right.
Yeah, and there's
All right,
plenty
so
of
I can
comments.
go?
Yep. Thank you, Helene.
Bye.
There's
Thank
plenty of
you.
comments in the chat box, thanking you all for the presentations and everything. So a lot of nice comments in the chat box.
Oh, I have. Okay, here we go. Download. Now, Diane, when I download the attendance list, is it downloading it like as of right now, or does it record everybody like coming, you know, throughout
It's
the morning?
supposed,
I guess we'll find out. We'll find out once I look at the, it says it's downloading now, so that's good. And I did it earlier too, mid-meeting, so at a minimum, we'll have 2 files. All right, so that's done. I can stop recording. Stop presenting as well. And stop recording.